Hi, this is Mahendra Kulhari of AVATR. You are tuned into the edge of NFT, your choice for the most innovative insights into blockchain and the future of recruitment. Keep listening.
Hey, Web3 curious listeners, stay tuned for today's episode to learn how Avatar is revolutionizing talent recruitment with blockchain and AI, and the unique ways Avatar's tokenized talent model is disrupting traditional employment systems. And then finally, how customizing notebooks at school was today's guest's first side hustle. All of this and more at the edge of Avatar. Cue the intro.
Welcome to The Edge of NFT, the podcast that brings you the top 1% of Web3 today and what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts of the business side and also the human element of how Web3 is changing the way we interact with the things we love. This podcast is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers who are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Welcome to The Edge of NFT, the podcast created by Jeff Kelly, Ethan Jenny, and Josh Krieger, featuring a variety of top-notch guests and other hosts like myself, Richard Carthon. It's another production of The Edge of Company, a quickly growing media ecosystem empowering the pioneers of Web3 tech and culture, responsible for other groundbreaking endeavors like the Outer Edge Innovation Festival in LA and Riyadh. Today's sponsored episode features Mahendra Kulhari, who is the founder and CEO of AVATR, who brings over 2 decades of technological innovation, leading the development of blockchain applications, crypto solutions, ERC20 tokens, NFTs, and securing significant capital from top investors. AVATR is transforming the $100 trillion employment market with its innovative, patent-pending business model that uses fractionalized NFTs to tokenize talent, enabling direct interactions between employers and candidates, and creating performance-based rewards for both creators and community. Mahendra, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for having me. And very excited to be here and mix it up with you today.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive into this interview, I first want to learn a little bit more about you, because I'm always curious to learn and hear about backgrounds and how your journey got to the blockchain space. So when did you first hear about blockchain, and why did you move your career towards this direction?
Well, it started with too many cups of coffee and late nights, just like a typical journey of a tech guy. Uh, but I guess during the COVID lockdown, there was a unique pause where we all got a moment to reflect, isn't it? That's when the discussions actually started with my founding partner, and we began fleshing out our unique and common dream, like paying it forward. Before that, let me introduce about myself. I come from 2 decades of technology experience. I have worked on various applications on the internet from Web 1 to Web 3. Have launched a couple of SaaS based cloud computing softwares. And I guess it was 2015 or 16 where I was first, I think I was exploring some new technology innovations around, and I came across Ethereum and the smart contract programming. And there was a internal thought in my mind that, Mahendra, you are missing something out. You should give it a try. What is this new tech, and what is happening? Because there was a lot of hype and news around new tokens and new projects coming out. So I formed a team of my technical architects, and we did a small POC of decentralized voting system. That how can we program via the smart contracts on the chain, and how individuals can participate in governance modeling, where everything is immutable and on the chain. So we did that POC, and me and my technical architects become very confident that yes, this is something we should aim for as the next evolution of internet, right? And then
Right.
COVID came on, and me and my founding partner, we started fleshing out the details of how we can empower the individuals in the employment workspace. And why? Because my founding partner comes from 3 decades of experience in employment, recruitment, and payroll. And we have our own in house recruitment related software. So actually, we are disrupting ourselves from Web 2 world to Web 3 world. So that's how it all got started. But Richard, let's get into the details of how all this works. And there is plenty to unpack about this idea.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for diving into that. And that does bring us into AVATR. So like you said, you kind of created a technology that disrupts your own technology that you have. And it's addressing a significant gap in the recruitment space that we have right now. So walk us through that like aha moment that like made you realize that there's a lot of potential for tokenizing talent.
Yeah. See, the tokenizing talent is a very technical word, right? Where tokenization is maybe new for a lot of people, but actually it is about creating an asset on the chain which is immutable, transferable, tradable, and everyone can participate in the growth and the promote the talent on the blockchain, right? So imagine you are a chemical engineer and you are based out of London and you are looking for a new job, and I'm an employer who is looking for a chemical engineer. Right? Now, if you compare this with the current solutions or products available in the Web2 space, you are actually talking to systems where the systems are designed in the favor for the middleman. Right? So in this scenario, when you are looking for a job, you are actually creating your data, and your data is owned by old traditional systems. And then the traditional systems offer you the job matching your data, right? So you are not able to get a chance to directly talk to me as an employer. So this is the current world of internet. And whereas Web3, uh, we are writing, we are flipping the script, we are redesigning the network in favor of the participants of the system instead of the system. So when you come to AVATR as a chemical engineer, you own your data. You create your digital profile, which is on the chain, totally controlled by you. And when I, as an employer, come onto AVATR, I get verified and trustworthy information directly from the chain where I can see Richard is a chemical engineer. He has done these many jobs, and these are his skills, which are verified on the chain. So it gives me a lot of trust to hire you and get the right fit candidate on the platform. So this is the base idea which is very revolutionary. We are changing the old way of traditional systems into new systems designed for the future of internet. So this is in a nutshell, but how it works, and then there is plenty of like as you said, tokenizing talent, right? Let me explain that. See, when you as a Richard come onto the avatar, you create your profile. We are using blockchain as an infrastructure, which means everything is written on a blockchain. And on top of blockchain, we are using P2P engineering technology via smart contract to enable that P2P communication between Richard and Mahendra as an employee and employer. And how that happens, you come to a system. Sorry, first I come to a system, I create a job that I'm looking for a chemical engineer. And you see that job directly, not advertised, but directly matching your skills, and the system triggers or notifies you that job. Now, here's the magic. This advertisement or this job ad, I'm using an old tech language, is converted into a smart job on Avatar. And what is a smart job? A smart job is a smart contract deployed on the chain that becomes an engagement or a contract employment between you and me. That's P2P communication between employee and employer. Now, that is one variable of the entire equation, Richard. And more smart jobs you do, more verified skills are on chain, your performance is created on Avatar. And we call that equation as APC, Avatar Performance Coefficient. So higher your APC, the system enables you to become Avatar. Yeah.
That's super cool. And I want to just dive into that even deeper because like this is a really interesting model that you're putting that P2P, that peer to peer. And, how do you think this is going to redefine that interaction between employers and candidates? And, what do you think are the benefits of like that direct engagement between the two?
See, first of all, the prime challenge when we started was, how to remove this middleman. So we removed this middleman by implementing P2P technology, and we have developed so far our own smart contract layer where you can create smart jobs, which becomes a P2P model between employer and employer. But it doesn't stay until there. Post that, what we are doing, see, you imagine yourself as a chemical engineer, you do more smart jobs and your verified skills are vetted on the chain. you are creating your own performance as an avatar. But post that, that smart job doesn't end when you are hired. It becomes your execution cycle of your performance. Let me tell you, let's say I hired you for 4 weeks, right? Or let's say for 3 months. So the smart jobs will trigger you periodically, you and me, to, where you will prove your proof of work, which means you have completed 40 hours in a week or 80 hours in a couple of weeks, and you will submit something to me as an employee, which I can only view utilizing the zero knowledge proof identity, where only the signatory holders via their wallet can only see the information and approve the information. So that's the P2P communication between you and me. So when that happens, every week or 2 weeks, whatever we have decided to prove the proof of work and proof of pay as well, right? Because that's very important to bring the trust to the employee part. So when those signs happen via your and my wallets, it creates transaction on the chain that this job was of 3 months and you have been hired, your skills are verified, and based on what skills this job is running, it becomes the execution cycle of the entire smart job. So that's the beauty of smart contract. See, we have seen static art as NFTs. We have seen static programming of those execution cycles. But what we are doing differently, we are implementing an execution-oriented smart contract programs, which are not only viewable but also you can execute it. So this is the smart job, right? Now, imagine you have done three smart jobs of maybe 1 year, 3 months, or 4 months. That is your digital portfolio, or call it digital profile, which is owned by you. And this is very difference here, Richard, that the future is data driven economy, right? Today you don't own and control your data. We have to build something. There has to be new applications on new internet where you own your data. And smart jobs are that technology which enables you and me via P2P to own our data. So your performance is owned by you via these smart jobs, right? And these are executable smart jobs via smart contracts.
Yeah,
I hope I answer your question.
you did, and I think what's unique about that is to your point, right? Let's say that someone is in a sales career. All you really have to go off is someone's resume right now and say like, "Hey, I was in President's Club, or I did X, Y, Z." And the only way that you potentially can validate that is through an ex-employer. There's no way to really prove through data that you did those things. And by having something like this, you now have a way to through zero knowledge proof validate that, like, hey, if I'm saying I did these things, it's literally on chain. Like, yep, these accomplishments actually happened and can be verified. Is that essentially what's happening?
That is exactly right. It has to be immutable and verifiable at the same time, and that's what blockchain as a technology enables, which is a big drawback or a flaw you can call in today's applications of Web2 world. So you have put it rightly.
A quick word from our sponsors who's ready to navigate the cutting edge of tomorrow's legal landscape. Because at Zuber Lawler, they're not just attorneys, they're visionaries. With expertise in emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, and the metaverse, they're paving the way for you to seize the future. For mergers and acquisitions to IP, their selective team delivers strategic solutions tailored to the ever-changing world of technology. Join us at Zuber Lawler, where the future meets the law at zuberlawler.com. Back to the episode. Awesome. And one of the other things that I thought was really cool, I want to go into a little bit more as well, is the concept of performance-based rewards. So the other part of this is if you are doing these smart contracts, you now have this other tokenization model within AVATR that can help transform an individual's career and through the hiring process. Can you kind of walk through that a little bit more of like how these potential performance-based rewards can be set up?
We have to think of a great network design not only giving the control of the data back to users, but we need to think about the incentive models also in favor of the users. So imagine like it's a bit like owning shares in a promising startup, but the startup is you and your career, right? So this way your talent just isn't just on display, it's actively generating returns for both you and your investors. And I'll tell you how. When you become avatar, you create 1,000 fractionalized NFTs of yours. What does that represent is that you have fractionalized your talent, your work performance, right? And now you are enabling anyone across the world to buy your NFTs. Indirectly, they are promoting you as a talent. That's the indirect bit of it. But why should someone promote you? Because when they buy your NFTs and when they hold your NFTs and your performance goes high, because that's the main equation of this entire P2P model. So when the performance goes high, your NFT holders are rewarded by the system in form of tokens. And that is the core utility of our token, that the token is not only utilized by employers to create smart jobs as a fee, but as a fee, it comes to the system as an inflow ratio, and as a reward, it goes outflow to the to the NFT holders of high performing talents. So that's how the reward mechanism works, and um, it's like creating a space where your performance pays dividends quite literally. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're creating dividends also for the people who are working with you. And if you're performing at a high rate, you're again providing even further value to people that would want to work with you into the future. So it's almost like it snowballs on having more people wanting to work with you and you having a high performance in the actions that you're doing, which is again a very new and unique model of doing that. But the another aspect of this I think is really cool, and that Avatar is about is the importance of borderless talent. Can you please explain a little bit more of like how Avatar is transcending geographical boundaries and the impact that you see it having on the global market?
See, the underpinning of our technology like blockchain smart contract programming, and we are also planning to launch, not planning, we are developing it, an NFT open marketplace. Because once you become Avatar, right, you are actually creating your thousand fractionalized NFTs, and anyone across the world can buy your talent and they can promote you and get rewarded by holding your NFTs. So the whole idea become borderless in itself. Um, and imagine you being a chemical engineer from London and you are hired by an employer from Perth from Australia, and I from Singapore is seeing you on Avatar Marketplace, that hey, his APC is continuously going high, his stability curve is very very stable, and 500 of Richard's NFTs are bought out and 500 are pending. So I from Singapore can buy your NFTs and promote you. That's how it becomes borderless. So the talent doesn't have a boundaries in Avatar. Talent becomes borderless, which means you can do any job across the world based on the beauty of this digital world. But the beauty of blockchain world is that you can buy and promote anyone from anywhere. So that's how Avatar becomes borderless.
I don't like that, and it's especially in the world of Web3. We live in a pretty borderless world right now, as long as we have access to internet. But the talent pools, you're now competing with people everywhere, and one of the largest challenges of dealing with people overseas is again verifying their work, being able to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
like even if someone goes and puts on their resume like, hey, I've done all of these things. Now that you're dealing over, like if you're going international, sometimes it's even harder to verify like, hey, has this person actually done all the things that they've said? So by having all these things on blockchain, again, it allows for verification and for more trust into who you're going to be working with. But
Absolutely.
in order to do that, there needs to be a pretty strong community within Avatar. And so the community building aspect of this is at the heart of Avatar. So how do you plan to engage and empower your community to come and grow and to use this platform?
You know, if you're doing anything in Web3 space, Richard, any product, any NFT, any token, anything you are doing in Web3 space, the whole spirit of Web3 is about putting people first, right? And this is why, uh, before we thought about the community building and whatever the efforts we are doing, when we were envisioning the idea, we always thought about the people and how we can remove the middleman between the people and build something on this new internet for the people, where the value is abstracted to the people rather than the system, right? And based on the same ethos of people first, I think it was December 2023 where we heavily started investing and putting our efforts for the community. And I'll share one thing with you. See, recently, and we are running these weekly Zeely sprints within our community of Discord, I think for more than 6 months by now, right? We launched our limited membership NFTs last year, which are only 10,000. And buying those NFTs, you can participate internally in these communities and can play around with the Zeely sprints where there is always a reward going back to the community. So what I was sharing, I think few weeks back, we have rewarded one of our community member with a Tesla.
Wow. Wow.
And and
That's an awesome reward.
and we, like, when we announced that, Richard, like probably November, when I went to Melbourne conference and we announced that, and we put the Tesla in the conference itself, and people were seeing that, and I believe some of the conversation that people didn't trust us at all. They thought, all right, this is another hype, this is another way of politicizing the people inside the community, and then just make them like doing some nonsense work, like follow this, follow that, and all that stuff, right? But when we announced and we gave that reward, and I literally become very emotional when that person was rewarded and he got the Tesla. You know what he said to my first email? He said, "Mom, this is spam. Someone is spamming me."
Couldn't believe it's real.
So we got his contact number from the conference. I think my business partner went to Melbourne and he gave a call and we tried to meet him. Finally, we met him. And when he saw the Tesla, he was like flying like this high. And I was like, mate, this is fantastic. This is what we are doing. This is the product and this is the community for the people. So it gave me so much, what do you call, a peace inside, that how happy the people are and how like diligently the team is putting efforts for the community. So, Richard, in short, we are doing a lot for the community. Every week or bi-weekly, we are running Zeely sprints where there is some fun activity or there is some tech activity or maybe there is something to make people aware about some risk in this new world. But there are efforts. There are efforts we are doing continuously for the community.
That's an awesome story. And everyone listening to this right now who has ever participated in any community type of rewards. I'm sure Tesla hasn't necessarily been in the cards, but the fact that y'all actually did that is awesome. But someone's listening to this right now and might be hearing like, okay, cool. That sounds really interesting. I definitely am interested in doing more community things with you. Like, what are some of those reward mechanisms that people can participate to potentially win their own Tesla in the future?
We will announce soon for sure. Definitely. See, the idea started around building a community where we are not only running some marketing strategies, just to make sure people are participating. I think the vision and strategy for community is very long term, like probably 5 years, because ultimately we want to make the entire idea purely decentralized. But in today's world where the scalability is a huge problem and you can't process too many transactions, you can't go decentralized at the step number one. You have to start somewhere where you can build the solution actually. So what we did, Richard, we have a strategy in place. What we are having 5 levels of our NFT purely for members and community. So the first level we call, and this is based on sharks. So we have 10,000 Mako sharks right now available in the market. And to the next level, which is Tiger Shark, you can only go to the next level if you have Mako NFT in your wallet. And you can sell out Mako NFT to anyone. So there is a progressive curve of community building, right? And what is the end goal? See, I'll explain you the end goal. The end goal is giving the governance to our community.
Yep.
Can you believe it? So there are 5 levels. You start with 10,000 NFTs. You go to 5,000 NFTs, 2,500, and so on. And the last level, probably 1,000 NFTs at the last level. But the NFT holders of the last level will actually become the governance or the main holders of AVATR as a whole idea. So that's a progressive curve of our community grow from 10,000 dedicated members to very limited members who actually participate in the governance model of entire idea. So that's our vision. That's our vision to give it back, but not like today, because it's a very complex
Right.
idea. You need fast decision making. to make this and that. And in the evolving space of infrastructure, I think we cannot let it out. We need to have some people in a very close boundary to execute it and make it sure it is launched on time, it is used on time. So yes, we have very strong vision and strategy for our community.
That's incredible. And I think having that long term vision of how do we get more of our community members involved and truly part of governance and helping lead where AVATR heads next is an awesome goal to it. It makes sense right now. You kind of keep it close to make sure it gets to that point so you can move fast and innovate and keep moving in that direction. But the goal is incredible. And you have a lot of things to look forward to as it relates to AVATR and what's to come. So what are some of those ambitious goals that you have for AVATR over the next few years? And are there any upcoming milestones that you're particularly excited about that you can share?
No, definitely. We have very exciting, roadmap ahead for next 12 months, Richard. And via you and via your community, I would like to share. See, when you do a Web3 idea, there is twofold. One is product, and one is your economy, right? And you and me have seen a lot of projects where it is hard to explain the utility, right? It is very hard. We are coming with a pure use case here, which where we are disrupting the old way of doing recruitment and deployment, and we are totally doing it on a blockchain as infrastructure and smart contract programming as a P2P way. But uh, the economy is also going to play a very important role. So, via the product side, I'll explain you what are our next 12 months look like. So recently we have launched our lean MVP version of our DApp to our internal marketing and internal community. They are testing it right now. They have a lot of feedback. They have a lot of changes, and they want to make it more user friendly, very slick. So now we are getting those feedbacks from the internal testing, and we have planned beta version of our tab end of this year. So that's our next milestone in the product roadmap. And mid 2025, we are focused to go live with our tab. That's the next 12 months of the product side of it. On the token side of it, see, I think 1.5 year back, I like it is truly commendable that we got investment funding from our family, of friends, or business partner and corporates. People came forward just on a plain idea, and they invested in us based on the face value, based on the idea value, and based on the passion to rewrite the application on new feature of internet. Right? So we have the funds in house, but we are not going to stop there. In the coming weeks, we have planned to launch our token, because in this world, capitalism and liquidity providation is very important to create a base value of your project, right? So, and when you have a strong product with a strong use case, I think it is advisable for every founder to launch the token, but with a great strategy in place. You have to protect your investors, your retail, and your future curve of your token. So what we are doing, we are launching the token in a very limited capacity, which means low market cap. And after 3 months, we are starting a vesting strategy cycle for investors to start distributing their token. Right. So that's going to start from September, and the token launch pads are planned in August, September. So it's a very aligned pipeline. Then we have plans to go on a centralized exchange, because now DEX, we are already seeing great curve in total value locked, total token value locked on the DEX, and it is performing very well. But it's very limited crypto friendly network, right? Whereas exchanges bring a mass adoption of people where you don't have to be crypto savvy, and you get a lot of protection and risk from crypto exchanges. So we have a plan to go on a crypto exchange in December with our beta map line. Then we have a plan to go on multiple regional and international exchanges in June, mapped with our go live strategy. So that's our token economic curve. And I want to share one more thing, Richard, that
Of course.
uh, I think a couple of weeks back we were discussing internally, that Mahendra, we are seeing a lot of these pump and dump cases from the last 2 years. We have seen some devastated products going to dump, like FTX as an exchange has gone out because of, I don't know. There are a lot of stories, but you know how what should we do? You know And when this question was asked to me, see, speculation is must. First of all, let's agree with that. Without speculation, you cannot build new tech, which is so complex. We need heavy capital for the growth, for scalability, and or for the future of this new technology. So speculation is must. And people are too, when you are in the trading world, right?
Hmm.
You have two visions, and as a trader mindset, you have a long vision, you have a short vision, and the
Yep.
fundamentals of the project tells you what should be a long strategy, what should be a short strategy, right? And that is why a liquidity is a must in the market for the short strategy, but with a low market cap. For the long vision, the fundamental values, a use case, a utility behind the project is a must for the long vision trader side. So speculation is very must for the healthy ecosystem. What we need is good, I would say, regulatory strategies to create a protective environment for these people to speculate in a very healthy environment, because there is risk, and there was risk in the old system as well. Take an example, how we have came from a horse to Tesla, right? Without economical injections, you cannot traverse or navigate to new technologies. You can't take risk. You will be just having a status quo of working in old models, right? So speculation
Right.
is healthy the way I see it. But over times, I think fundamentals will drive the tokens, the values, and the token prices, just as they have driven the prices in the older markets. Uh, I always remember the saying from old Wall Street legend, Mr. Graham, um, that markets are a voting machine in the short term, and markets are a weighing machine for the long term. So same applies to the speculative mindset. In other words, assets with actual substance will go longer, and this implication that it may be prudent not to let any short razzle dazzle distract you. Just because something wins a popularity contest today doesn't mean it will age well.
That's right.
So what I as a founder is doing, implementing a right token investing strategy to create that healthy protective environment, Richard.
Yep.
So the early investors who has invested in a token, they will get the token distribution for next 3 years with a distribution cycle of 3 months, and it will start from September. And I can proudly say that everyone inside the team, the founders, the advisors, the tech, the marketing, everyone has willingly came forward and bounded their hands for the next 3 years in a vesting cycle. And their distribution will start when the product goes live, which is mid next year.
Yep.
So now just imagine who is there to dump token. No one. No
Right.
one from the internal team.
It,
And this is a big difference here. Yeah.
it is, and I just want to spend a little bit of time here because for a long time in this space, there's have been lessons through each of the cycles, right? So what you saw in the 17 to 18, which was the big ICO boom, you had all these projects that got made, and on speculation, there's just gigantic run up. But because of everyone being liquid, everyone dumped at the same time and drove everything down. A lot of those companies didn't survive. So you learn from those lessons, and people start realizing that if blockchain as an industry is here, isn't going anywhere, and you're seeing a long-term vision, you have to play both the short term and the long term. And I think you did a really good job of explaining how you are building this for the long term, but still having the short term in mind so that others can participate and be part of this journey. Because ultimately you need some of that speculation in there in order to help drive some initial adoption, awareness, and price action liquidity for the long-term vision of what you're building towards. Because ultimately any of these projects needs time in order to get where it's trying to go. I don't know what it is about the blockchain industry where people think like you need to be an overnight success and be worth billions of dollars in a matter of days or months. But in the traditional markets, these things take 7, 10, 15, 20 years before you get to that big model. So why is there such imbalance of time of success and like the measurement of like
Hmm.
how long this takes. You have to have that vision there. So I think that's good. I think how you're going about it makes a ton of sense and is very healthy. And I think it's going to have a lot of long term dividends for people who are choosing to come and be a part of AVATR.
I can add one more practical reasoning behind this, Richard. See, the entire Web3 ethos is around ownership, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in can you imagine how you would like to give ownership in Web2 oriented application? You can't. You can't. So what is the medium in Web3 to give ownership back? Tokens.
Yep.
Tokens play a role of electric outlet which you plug anything into it, and can run coffee machine or whatever. So it plays the role of electric outlet to give ownership to you of your data, of your rewards. So you are building a network design where the incentives are in your favor, right?
Right.
Now here's the kicker. See, when you own something, you can do what you like with it. You can buy, you can sell, you can trade, you can hold, you can do whatever what you want, right? You can't
Right.
restrict people that, hey, you have this ABC token, but you can't do it, anything with it. So that
Right.
doesn't happen, right? So imagine if you lived in a world in which you could only rent houses, and someday someone has given the ownership of houses to you. What will you do? Suddenly the speculation will go high. Easy to understand. That's the role of tokens in Web3, where the ownership is given to you. And when the ownership is given to you, you can do anything with it. You can't restrict it. And that's why we need to launch the token out to give that ownership back to the people. And but you can do sensible things around it. Low market cap, a very well planned and balanced and disciplined vesting strategy, so that people doesn't so the it doesn't favor the initial investors or the internal team who has more vision around it, right? So that's what you do as a founder of great ideas, and build a sensible strategy around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think another good example, and I appreciate you sharing it. And I guess as a final question, I'm curious, just beyond recruitment and what Avatar is doing, just looking more generally at all of the blockchain space. Like, what do you envision blockchain and NFTs applying to other industries and continue to evolve traditional like Web 2 markets over into Web 3?
See, initially it was all about tokens because when I was studying, when we did this POC back in 2016 with our technical architects, right? What I understood is, tokens, you can encapsulate and build ownership inside the tokens and give ownership back to the user. But from then until now, we have seen great cycles, up and downs. We have seen cycle of great decentralized finance applications where there are so many great projects. I would say Uniswap, and there are many others where DeFi has been really playing a great role to give the freedom of their monetary holding back to the users. That is one of the great use case. I have seen a lot development and improvement in the infrastructure. We have a lot of L1s, we have L2s to bring the scalability, and we have a lot of intermediary applications like wallets, payment gateways, OTCs, which enables people to use this new technology and products efficiently. I think we have seen the NFT cycle, non fungible tokens, where the entire vision of giving digital property rights to the users. And I must say, one of the leaders in this space, Mr. Yat CEO from Animoca Brands, I follow him very greatly. He has very great vision and very great articulated story for the ownership of digital property rights in this world via NFTs. I think recently we are seeing a lot of meme coins. There are plus and minus of meme coins, but the way I see, I think it brings a cultural capital for the people to come together and participate and prosper together. So that's a great use case. There are many ups and downs around meme coins, where we have to be very sensible. Believe the people behind the project who are influencing that meme coin. I think it makes a great strategy. But now, I think, Richard, we have built enough highway and roads. We need traffic now. We need users now. We need great use cases now. We need utility oriented, which connects with a daily user and make them usable in a very what do you call consumable way, rather than you are putting your efforts and You don't know what's happening around there. So I think I would like to not only appreciate the Web3 builders, but I want to encourage them to work towards this area where we can bring great utility and use cases on this new tech. I think that's what I want to see, and it can happen in any world. It can happen in healthcare. You bring digital property rights of a contract between doctor and patient. You bring what you call fashion onto it. We are seeing a lot of fashion industry coming into this, where you can give the ownership to your loyal customer so that they can always connect it with you. You can do direct marketing to them rather than mixed up in the social world of marketing where you cannot count. Imagine you have 1 million followers on any social platform, right? Can you talk to 1 million followers straightly? No, you can't. The algorithms are not designed in your favor, so we need such solutions for such social industry as well. And this is what give make me so passionate to do Avatar, that yes, this is required now. I need to bring traffic on these highways, and these highways are not just for show off, right? We have to run on them, we have to build on them. So that's what I see beyond recruitment, beyond the limitations of this industry.
Well, thank you for sharing those insights. I agree. Fashion, healthcare, real world assets. There's so many things that blockchain is going to touch, even the NFTs. And also want to echo your sentiment around Yacht. He has such an eloquent way of explaining where things are headed and what's already here and what's to come. And I think, your passion, obviously, for job recruitment and how you're bringing that to blockchain resonates through this conversation. So we want to say thank you for spending time with us and explaining everything AVATR has going on. But now we get to spend a little bit more time directly with you and learning more about you in our next segment called Edge Quick Hitters. And now for a quick word from our sponsor before we dive into the next segment. Are you ready to take your sports predictions to the next level? Look no further than maincard.io, the fantasy management platform that's taking the blockchain world by storm. With MainCard, every card is a ticket to excitement. You can predict sport outcomes, trade cards in the marketplace, and challenge opponents in thrilling weekly duels. And don't wait. Head to maincard.io now and start earning rewards with your NFTs, because it pays to be early. And now back to today's episode. Edge Quick Hitters are a fun and quick way to get to know you a little better. There are 10 questions and we're looking for a short, single, or few word response. But feel free to expand if you get the urge. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. What is the first thing you remember ever purchasing in your life?
That's a tricky question. Um, I think I purchased a pair of shorts or jeans when I was in school, and there is a I don't know why I remember this, Richard, but you know what happened? I was in those blue pants and never tried a jean short or something like that, and I think there was a sports event coming, and I asked my dad, well, like a kid, that I want to get this one. There's a sport coming for it, and I got that, and I was so happy buying those pair of shorts and jeans. I can remember now. So that was
That's
the
so
first thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You remember those things, like you feel so much pride towards it, right? Like it's like, like I bought this. Like,
Absolutely, yeah. I was sleeping in on those pants every day. I think
yeah,
that's my vaguely memory. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, that's a great one. What is the first thing you remember selling in your life?
Now, based on that, I was not a studious student, but I was a very disciplined student because my dad was in army and discipline was must at home, right? And I remember, like, if I was in fifth class and I was maintaining my books and my copies with good stickers and good book covers, good copy covers, and you are if you're drawing something and you're putting a note in the book, you are very disciplined so that you don't spoil the book or the notebooks. And I remember when I was talking to the juniors who are below to my class, and when they saw my books, they said, "Hey, Mahendra, we want your books, we want your notebooks." So I start selling them at a very low price. But by the time I was in ninth or tenth, I raised my price because it was so well maintained. Everyone wanted, "Hey, your books are very much like a fancy sticker on your book, right? Everyone
Right.
wants that." So I used to buy those stuff and put my books and notebooks in a very, very, very maintained way. So I remember selling my books to the juniors.
That's awesome. Your first marketplace through creativeness, through books. That's really awesome. That's a first. That's a first on the show, which is really cool. Always like to hear first. What is the most recent thing you purchased?
The most recent thing? I'm not sure. All right. Here's a book. I think I ordered this few weeks back from Jed Diamond, Guns, Germs, and Steel. Bit of about the history. I think this is what I purchased lastly. I might have purchased other things, but I remember this one.
Yeah, no, awesome. Always love some knowledge. What is the most recent thing you sold?
I don't remember selling anything, but I think my daughter has taken my old iPhone, so I think she didn't pay me, but someday I will charge her.
All right. What would you consider your most prized possession?
Most prized possession, right? I'm not going to talk about something which is high in price, but I can share one story with you, Richard. As I said, I was not a studious student, so I never got good marks. And my dad was very strict, and he came from like a defense background, so discipline and all that stuff was at home. So I think I was in 10th class, and I didn't my result was not good, like in all the subjects. So he was seeing my scorecard, and I came to the home, and he was seeing the scorecard and said, English, all right, physics and science and biology and everything like that. And then maths was there, and he saw the numbers in maths and said, "Wow, brilliant!" So that was the compliment I always remember when I cherish something internally, because I scored 100% in maths, and
Wow.
rest all the subjects where I was about to fail, but maths I scored well, and my dad didn't care about other subjects, and he saw maths and he said, "Wonderful, that's great." So I think it's very close to my heart, where I always remember when someone asks me, "Hey, what do you think about your anything which you can share as your prized memory or prized position?" So I
Yeah,
think that would be it.
no, that's an awesome story, and it's cool that your dad was still able to acknowledge and make you feel good about doing that. So that's an awesome story. If you could buy anything in the world, digital, physical, service, experience, that is currently for sale right now, and money wasn't an issue, what would it be?
A ticket to Mars.
To Mars. Okay.
Yeah. Why? I think I was watching this. Sorry, I was reading this book from Elon Musk, and the kind of leader he is, we all believe that he's one of the misfit, right? And what he's doing, I think that really excites me. That I want a ticket to Mars if I can afford that.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. One of the first ones to go up there. If you could pass on any of your personality traits to the next generation, what would it be?
I think I usually talk to my kids all the time, and now I have become a boring father to them, right? But one thing why I would like to give back is focus, and I'll tell you why. See, do you remember? I'm from a world from 1980s and 90s, Richard, right? And I have seen, like, remember, if I have to read about a new topic, I used to go to libraries, look out for a new book, and then you have to wait if it is already issued to someone, and then you go back after 7 days again to see whether the book is available there or not. So what I'm trying to say is, there were lot less capabilities during that time, and if you compare today, we have internet in our hand.
Right.
You have a lot of capabilities around it, but the pain point around this new capability or everything around you is that distraction. It is too much distracted, right?
Yes.
You will be like, I see my kids all the time scrolling this and that. So the focus is one thing I would like to hand over to the next generation, and how to become more focus oriented in too many distraction is one thing I I I can manage and balance myself. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great one. Like you said, overstimulation is absolutely apparent, and being able to just lock in on something and get things done is a great characteristic to have. On the other side, if you could eliminate one of your personality traits from the next generation, what would that be?
I'm very impatient. I want things yesterday. So, and I'm blessed to have my family understand me, my team understand me. But I'm very impatient. I don't know why. I think I want things to be done right now. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a fair one, and I think it happens to all of us, right? Like it's just sometimes you just want it now. So I can completely understand that. What did you do just before joining us on the podcast?
Just before the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I think I had my eighth or ninth coffee of the day.
Staying caffeinated, love it. And what are you going to be doing after the podcast?
I'm starving. I'm going to have dinner soon after this podcast and go to the bed. I think today is a very long day. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you answering all those questions. We always like to wrap up with a fun bonus question. And today's question, since we've been talking a lot about job recruiting and everything else, what is a fun job recruiting story that you personally experienced, whether it's like your first job you ever had, or maybe it was like a memorable hire that you did, but like what's a memorable moment in the job recruitment process for you?
See, to a recruiter, right? If you tell them to hire 10 people, right? The value to hire 10 people will be very lot lesser, right? Because then you will hire the strongest fit also and the least fit also, because your reputation is not out. Maybe some candidates go low, some goes high, so your reputation or valuable thought process, the irrational thought process of a recruiter is way different if you're hiring 10 people for 10 jobs. Now you imagine you are hiring one person for one job. You will be a lot more detailed oriented. Your reputation is on stake if that candidate is a misfit or gone bad on the job. So that's the difference I learned very early, that what is the role of recruiter, how complex their job is to impact on employees' life and employers' life, right? And I think that is what we are fixing somewhere via Avatar. We are giving, or we are solving a lot of problems of a recruiter to hire the right fit, where the trust can be enabled via the systems, and they can, whether it is one or 10, it will become more informed for them, more trustworthy for them. So I think that is one of the story I learned from my leaders and my seniors way lot in my career journey. I think that's what I want to share. Yeah.
No, that's a really great story and very timely. With the market being where it is, there's a lot of people in the space who are looking to grow and scale up their companies, and having this type of wisdom is going to be very valuable. So thank you for sharing that story. Before we wrap, we always like to finish up with a moment called shout outs. And this is kind of just a moment for you to shout out kind of the unsung heroes that you are working with. So this could be someone you either regularly work with, family, whomever, but this is a moment for you to shout out whoever you would like.
See, I think last 1.5 year was very tough for Avatar and for the entire team, and including my founding partner. Right, we have been onto a roller coaster ride. Sometimes it was very hard to explain the idea to some people, and then we have gone from a lot of complexity to a simplicity of explaining our idea. So I think the entire team at this stage, Richard, to be honestly, who is working on Avatar, from business people, from marketing. Marketing is a great challenge, but it's also very enjoyable. The tech team who has produced this lean version of the tab, I think it's commendable in a very short span of time. And yeah, I think investors. I think I want to include them. It's really very emotional when someone trusts you and invest in you, just based on your face value and a simple idea, but a great passion behind it. So I think collectively the team and the investors, I would like to just shout out to them.
Yeah, Awesome. Well, definitely appreciate that. And I know they all can hear your passion through it. I know I could definitely feel your passion through today's conversation. But for everyone who's listening to this and they're very fired up and they want to learn more about AVATR, what are ways that people can learn more and be able to connect and become part of the community?
I think Twitter is our go-to channel where you can follow us, and there are daily updates coming in. The second is Discord. I can understand it could be a new tool for some people, but in Discord we have dedicated moderators and organizers who can touch base with you directly. We got a lot of requests there which are not in our interest, so we park them. But yes, someone will definitely get back to you if you have queries or if you want to learn in our Discord channel. Otherwise, I'm working 24 into 7. I raise my hands up, my Twitter channel, just, shoot it out and I'll respond to you.
Excellent. Well, Mahendra, really appreciate your time today. And for everyone else out there, we've reached the outer limit of the edge of NFT for today. Thank you for exploring with us. We've got space for more adventurers on the Starship, so invite your friends and recruit some cool strangers that will make this journey also much better. How? If you're listening, go to Spotify or iTunes or Myco right now, rate us and say something awesome. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, join over 130,000 other followers by hitting the subscribe button and passing this episode on to a friend or two. You can also catch us on Myco, that's myco.io, and you can watch and earn for your time and attention. Lastly, be sure to tune in for the next time we have another episode for amazing Web3 content. Thanks again for sharing this time with us today.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.